Hi guys, for today's video, I'm going to be filming a review, demo, and wear test on the new Maybelline Dream Cushion Foundation. This is super new to the drugstore, and I know these cushion foundations are super popular, and I'd never tried one out before. I kind of stayed away from them because most of the ones I heard about were luminous, not really that good for oily skin, but I recently watched someone do a review on this, and they did have oily skin, makeup by Amy Michelle. I will leave her video down below, and she said she really liked this, that it held up on her skin really well, so I wanted to pick it up and test it for myself. This was available on Amazon and things like that. It did just recently go in the drugstore, so when I went into Rite Aid the other day, there was a huge display. They had a decent amount of shades. I'm not really sure. I will have that information down below as well. The shade that I picked up is 20 Classic Ivory. This one just stood out to me. It just seemed like a good light neutral shade, which I tend to prefer. I don't like my foundations too pink or too yellow warm either, so this was a good in between. So like I said, this is available at pretty much all drugstores. I think I read it's available at like CVS, Walgreens, definitely Rite Aid. That's where I got mine from. You can also get it on Amazon. I'm not really sure how many shades they have on Amazon, but I know that's where it released first, and I got this for $15.99. It is a little bit more pricey than normal drugstore foundations. On Maybelline's website, they claim that it has a complete luminous coverage for fresh-faced perfection. I definitely wouldn't say that this is completely full coverage. It is definitely medium to buildable, which you will see when I get into the demo, and also I wouldn't say it's completely luminous. It's definitely more on like the satin side. It does have a little bit of a glow to it though, but it's definitely not going to be like that luminosity that scares like oily people away. You're not going to look shiny or oily or greasy or anything like that. As far as how long this lasts, it doesn't really have any claims. I can't find any on the packaging or on the website, but today's video I am going to be including a wear test, so I do have like a final thought right after I apply the foundation, and then I'm going to be checking like once or twice more throughout the day to see really how long it lasts and how well it's going to hold up on my oily skin. So here's a close-up of the packaging, which I do really like. It's just in that typical cushion container, and then when you open it up, it does come with the little mirror as well as the little applicator that I talk about in the video, and then it just flips up like this. When I first purchased it in the store, this did have like a whole protective layer over the cushion. It was nice and sealed, so that is definitely a plus. So I did go ahead and already prime my face like I normally do. When I do test out new foundations, that's what I do. I don't really like to test them out on their own because that's not how I'll normally be wearing them. So I did go ahead and use my primer water as well as my e.l.f. Mineral Infused Primer because those are my favorite primers that I use on a daily basis, and I really want to see how they work with this foundation. So I have used this foundation before, like once or twice, just as a quick test, but today I'm really going to put it to the test, do a wear test, do check-ins, things like that. So I think how I'm going to use it is I'm going to try applying it with a little applicator that it comes in. I feel like these are often overlooked, but I feel like maybe it'll be the best way to apply the cushion foundation. And then for the other half of my face, I have a couple different options of foundation brushes from Morphe that I really love that I'm going to test out as well. So like I said, my face is already primed and prepped and things like that, so I'm just going to hop into the demo and start applying the foundation. So I'm going to be using the applicator that it comes in, like I said, and just kind of pressing it in there. I already do see that this looks like it's soaking up a lot of the product, so I'm just going to start pressing this in my face and see how it applies with this. It's like slipping off my fingers. I don't like things like this. So right away I can tell that I really enjoy this shade. I think it is a good neutral shade and it matches my neck pretty nicely, but I'm not digging this sponge. I don't know if you guys can see how much product got soaked up into the sponge. I really pressed it in there, and like not a lot of it is coming up on my face right now. The product does look nice on my face applied with the sponge, but as you can see, it literally soaked up like more than half of what I did apply, and that's just going to be a waste of product, especially here. I know it's from the drugstore, but like I said earlier in this video, this is $15.99 where I picked it up at Rite Aid, so it is a little bit more on the pricey side, and I don't want to be wasting it or getting it all absorbed into a sponge when I could be using it on my face. So I'm definitely going to test out the other half of my face with a brush and see if it absorbs less product, which I'm sure it will. So I'm not really hating how it looks with this sponge. I actually don't think it looks that bad, but I just feel like it's going to take too long. The sponge isn't really super steady on my fingers. It is kind of sliding around. So moving on to my forehead, I have already dipped this little applicator into the pan 4 times, which I feel like is such a waste and something that I really shouldn't have to do. And of course, applicators like this always make it a little hard to really get in there around the brow and make sure everything is nice and covered. So I'll probably have to go in with something a little bit different. Okay, so here's what one layer of the foundation looks like with the applicator. I feel like it really did a nice job at evening out my skin tone. You can definitely still see some spots showing through. So this definitely isn't full coverage. I would definitely say it's more of like a light to medium and definitely buildable, but I really like it. It has a super natural finish. It's not really drying down too powdery like something like the Matte and Poreless does, which you guys know I love, but this definitely has a little bit more life to it, which I am enjoying as well. And like I said, I'm really liking how the little applicator actually applied the foundation and really pressed it into my skin. But again, I think it just wastes way too much product. I'm just going to dip the applicator in one more time and try to put on another layer and see how it performs. So another layer of the foundation with the little applicator definitely helped with the coverage on my problem areas. Now I'm going to go in and do this portion of my face with a brush. I chose the Morphe M439. So I'm just going to kind of tap my brush in here a couple times and start applying it to my face. Okay, so I feel like you definitely pick up a lot more product when using a brush, as you can see. Wow, I feel like I picked up a little bit too much. That little applicator definitely soaks up a lot of the product. So I'm just really going to take my time and spread this out. I feel like I even picked up a little bit too much with the brush and it's definitely looking a little cakey. So I'm just going to go over it with the sponge and kind of press it into my skin. So here's the foundation fully applied. Overall, I really do enjoy the finish. So I did go in with 2 layers on the side with the sponge, where I only had to do 1 with the brush. So I was getting more coverage with the brush. I was definitely getting a medium coverage right away. Whereas with the sponge, I was kind of getting a light to medium, and then I had to build it up to a medium coverage. There's definitely pros and cons to both. With the brush, I just felt like it was so easy, so much quicker. But then again, I kind of applied a little bit too much product. So if you're going to use a brush, definitely just be careful. I feel like when we press in the sponge, more comes out than we think. So then with the little applicator, I was definitely kind of able to build it up a little more, control how much product I was putting on, but at the same time, that little applicator was sucking up a lot of the products. I guess it definitely depends on how you prefer to apply your foundation. So I hope that demo was helpful. I'm just going to hop off camera, finish up the rest of my face, and come back with my final thought. Alright, so this is my face all done. I did my concealer, my powder, contour, highlight, things like that. The concealer blended so nice on top of the foundation. It set really well. Everything went on really well. Right now, I do like the foundation. It's definitely not my favorite. I do think I prefer my Matte and Poreless, which you guys know I've always loved, but I'm curious to see how this is going to hold up, and I will see you guys when I do my next check-in. Alright, so it's been like an hour and a half since I first applied the foundation. I went ahead and filmed another video. So looking at my face, I really like what I see. It doesn't look any different really from when I first applied it. The only thing that I noticed it looks a little more smooth and a little bit more matte, like it kind of had more time to really set and dry completely. Even though I set it with powder, I do feel like it looks a little more smooth from when I first applied it. So far, so good. Like I said, it's not my favorite, but it's definitely holding up pretty well. So hopefully it lasts throughout the day, and I will see you guys in my next check-in. Hey guys, it is around 5 o'clock right now, and I decided to come back and do my next check-in. I've had the foundation on for a good 5 hours now. I'm sorry about the lighting. I just really quickly set up my studio light, and I am holding my camera because I didn't feel like setting it up on the tripod and stuff, so I'm sorry if it's a little shaky. So what I am noticing is I am starting to get a little oily, but nothing new. I'm not excessively greasy, which I'm pretty impressed with. Definitely not as matte as when I wear my Matte and Poreless. My oils are breaking through a little sooner. So here, as you can see, that's my highlight. That's fine. But really in the center of my face, in my T-zone, the foundation is starting to break up a little bit and I'm getting greasy, but again, nothing too excessive. The foundation is starting to break up on my nose, but again, that's kind of normal. I haven't really found a foundation that lasts that long on my nose, so you can definitely see some redness on my nose. And I also feel like the foundation is clinging like in these areas around my nose and in between my eyebrows and a little bit on my chin. Those areas where I have a little bit more texture, a little bit more dry skin, I feel like the foundation is definitely clinging a little bit. So yeah, so far it's not too bad. I don't think it's going to be a super long wear foundation for me, especially with my oily skin. I get more oily as the day goes on. I really feel like it's kind of going to continue to break down and get shiny. So I'm going to hold off on blotting or adding any more powder or anything like that. So I will be back for my next check-in later. Hey guys, so it is around 8:30. Yep, it is 8:37. I've had it on for about 8 hours now. I started applying the foundation around noon, even a little bit before noon. So yeah, I definitely feel like I'm a little more greasy. I definitely feel like the foundation has faded, especially underneath like my bronzer, my contour, contour and highlight. I feel like some spots are starting to peek through and it's definitely starting to break up. Overall, the foundation's not horrible. I definitely think it'll work for you if you have more normal, even a little bit dry skin. But personally for me, I just think my oils just broke it down super quickly. I don't to the touch feel super greasy or super uncomfortable, but I do feel more greasy than I normally do in something like my matte and poreless. So like I said, it's not horrible, but I don't think it's going to be something that I'm going to use often. So therefore, I'm probably going to return it since it was a little more pricey. It was $16. This was my final check-in. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope it was helpful. Definitely let me know if you've tried out the foundation or if you're interested in trying it out and what you guys think of it. Please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and also hit that little bell so you're notified when I upload and don't miss out on any videos. Thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you in my next one. Bye.